on February 26th. Today we're going to do a blend of the 8 pieces of the Brocade and 5 Element Qigong, just so I can see how those, show you how those two forms connect and are related. And then we're going to go over some smart moves and expand on what we did last week with our footwork. So we'll get started right away here with pushing up the sky. So we're going to bring our hands down to our abdomen and bend the knees and raise the hands up, keeping the knees bent, and then we push up the sky and look up to the sky and stand up on the tiptoes a bit and then come down. So this is, again, the first Brocade, and we look down to the earth, knees bent, and then raise the hands up again, flip the palms up, and then straighten the knees and push, and stretch, reach up on the toes a bit, reach up through the hands, and come down. All right, so this stretches all those meridians running north to south from the feet up to the fingertips. And press, you straighten the knees, look up to the sky, and you don't need to stand on your toes, but you can add that little piece if you want to stand up on the tiptoes. Wake up your feet, your ankles, and come down, and then bend the knees. And then with your breathing too, you'll coordinate that as you learn the form. As you press, you breathe in, reach up, and then as you come down, you breathe out and bend the knees. And then we'll do this one more time. Raise the hands up, palms up to the sky, press and breathe in, reach, and then return. So that's the first Brocade. And then when I teach 5 Element Qigong, I start with the earth element form in my circuit so that it ends in the cycle with fire, which is the culminating energy. And I really think it connects to the Brocades too, because the earth element form is very similar to the first Brocade. So the earth element form, you put your hands in a triangle like this, and then you're going to lift your hands up, kind of gazing through the triangle. And then with this one, eventually you want to look up inside of that triangle, like your planet Earth looking out into space. But if it makes you dizzy, which it did when I started doing this, you can lower your hands down a little bit and at least lower your gaze down. You don't need to look straight up into the sky, because the last thing you want to do is get dizzy and fall down. So with this movement, what you do, your hands together, your knees stay bent, and similar to the first Brocade, we press up, reach the arms, and then twist, and then come back to the center. And you can lower your hands down and spread them out again, bending the knees, and then make that triangle. Okay, and I'll be your mirror here. So as you extend, you'll twist to your left, twist, and then come back to the center. This really activates the spleen and the stomach meridian, but really a lot of the meridians that run north to south, which are most of them. Okay, so if we're going to twist to the right here, the other piece is you kind of push down on your left big toe, press it to the earth, and then release. That's the beginning of your spleen meridian, down there on the big toes. And when you press it down into the earth, you bring the energy up through the spleen meridian. So you press and twist, and then come back to the center, bend the knees, and come apart. And the breathing is the same as the first Brocade. So as you begin to press, you breathe in and twist, and then return and breathe out. And bend the knees. So you'll see how this flow of energy is really consistent with the 8 Brocades and the 5 Element Qigong. So even the 8 pieces of the Brocade follow the 5 element cycle. So we'll pause there. That's the earth element form. And then we'll switch over to the Brocades and do our second Brocade, the archer stance. Okay, so I'm going to go through these a little quickly because we're doing additional forms today. But the second brocade, our feet come apart and our toes can point out a little bit. And then we're going to cross our arms and make a fist in your right hand. And then your left hand is going to kind of hold that fist in its palm. And then you sink and turn your head and pull like you're shooting a bow and arrow. You feel that stretch a bit. You can breathe into that stretch. Inhale and exhale. And you open with your thumb and then push that backside of your hand down and out. So these stimulate the lung and the large intestine meridian. So fist in your left hand now, right palm on your fist, and then you sink, turn the head, draw the bow, and you feel through your right arm out to your thumb and pointer finger. You can take a deep breath and then release. You open up your left thumb to pinky and then push that backside of your hand down and up and then cross the forearms again. Fist in your right hand. You kind of straighten up and then sink and pull. Feel that stretch. Just breathe naturally. And this is the metal element, from earth to metal. So breathe in and breathe out. Open up your right thumb to the pinky, push it down and out, and then cross the forearms again. Fist in your left hand, sink, and we'll just hold it there for a breath or two in and out. Breathe in and breathe out. And then as you get more comfortable with the form, you just harmonize it with the breath. So as you pull and sink, you breathe in. As you release, you breathe out. And it feels so wonderful from the shoulders out to your wrists. And it wakes up your hands, making that strong fist, that tension, and then release. All right. And then let's just take a deep breath here. Bend the knees and then open your hands up. And then exhale. Bend the knees, cross the forearms, and then go the other way. Reach out and breathe in. And exhale. And sweep down your arms. So then we'll switch back to the 5 element form. So this one is even more simple. The 5 elements form really makes each form very simple, just one movement with one breath for the most part. So your hands come up for this one. So we're on the metal element form, lung, large intestine. And this one, your knees are bent and you pull the hands apart and you feel that stretch through the thumb and pointer finger, and then you lift the palms up. So you just turn the hands and then you bring the hands back. I think this is the most simple Qigong form for the metal element. So knees bent, then you face your hands down, pull the hands apart, turn the palms up, and then return. And this is easy to match with your breathing. So you pull the hands apart and inhale. Feel the chest open, energy to the lungs, palms up, and then exhale. And we'll do that a couple times more. So palms down, open, breathing in. Feel from the shoulders through the forearms out to the fingertips, palms up, and breathe out. And you can play with this one, breathing more quickly if you want, finding a rhythm, tension, and then release, pulling, and then releasing. Feel the lungs. One more time. Breathing in and breathe out. And then relax the hands down and shake the shoulders. All right. So that was the metal element form. And we're going to do just quickly the third and fourth brocade before we move to the next one that correlates to an element. These are kind of bonus brocades. So our left hand comes up, our right hand down, and then we press the feet to the earth, and then we turn, and bend the knees. Now the right arm comes up, fingers in towards the head, left hand, fingers forward, and then press. And our eyes just look straight ahead. That makes that extension in our spine, and then return, bend the knees. Now the left hand comes up, fingers point in towards the head, right hand down at the side, fingers forward, and then press. Imagine your spine decompressing, stretching, the root sinking, the crown reaching up, and then return. And bend the knees. Then the other side. So the right hand's going to come up. You can always pause here in the middle to get your bearings, and then you breathe in. Reach the left hand down to the earth, and then return, and bend the knees. And then one more time, left hand up, press, and return. All right. So on this third and fourth brocade, it kind of continues with a lot of the meridians in the arms, which are the lungs and the fire element, so metal element and fire element. So we kind of throw some fire element in there before we move on to the water element. But our knees are bent here. Fourth brocade is the palms face behind us, and then we straighten the knees, palms forward, and turn the head, and then back to the center. Palms face behind and bend the knees. Palms forward, press and turn. Reach your fingertips down to the earth a little bit and come back. So this one really helps release tension in your head and your neck. And that's an important piece too as you're doing your Qigong practice. As a warm-up, you work from the top down. So your first exercises, it's really helpful to loosen up the shoulders and the chest and get the energy flowing out to your hands and your fingers. And then this one is a great one to twist and kind of squeeze in the head and the brain here as you're turning, and then you release. So it's like you're breathing with your upper dantian and your brain, and you feel the forehead and the eyes turn, waking up and activating, and bend the knees, palms forward, press and inhale, and then exhale, palms face behind you, and start to feel the energy in the palms, breathing in, breathing out. And let's do once more back and forth. Loosen up the energy in your head and in the neck. One more time. Press the feet to the earth. Breathe in and breathe out. All right, then we move on to the fourth brocade, which is connected with the water element, the fourth and the fifth brocade. So our feet come apart and we start to move the energy into the lower body. So we bend our knees and we start to wake up our hips. So the hands go on the thighs, and you're going to turn your head to the left and sink inside the legs as best you can, and then you shift to the right and you come up on the right foot and then sink down the center, and then you look to the right side, sink forward and then shift to the left and come up, and then you sink. Good. And then look to the left side, sink, shift to the right. As you come up, you inhale, and then as you come down, you exhale through your mouth, and then look to the right, sink, shift to the left, come up, and then breathe out through your mouth as you sink. And let's do once more to each side. So look to the left, sink, shift, come up, and then breathe out. You're releasing excess fire energy with that breath out through your mouth. And look to the right, sink, shift to the left, come up, and sink. And smile to your hips. I love my hips. Get that chi in there and then come up. Good, you can feel how that really draws the energy deep into the hip joints. And now the fifth brocade, or the sixth brocade, looking up to the sky. So our knees bend, and then our hands face down to the earth, and we float our hands up, straighten the knees, look up to the sky, and let the hands sink. Bend the knees, and then the palms go on the back, and we straighten the knees, ground our feet, plant them deep, and gently arch, and then return, and then lean forward, slide your hands down the back of the legs and bend the knees, grab the toes, stretch the hips up, and then bend the knees. Again, this one's water element energy. A lot of what we're working with right now is water element, kidney energy. A lot of us get the lower back pain during the winter time with the weakening kidney energy. We can do these to strengthen that energy, but you want to take it easy, doing just gently arching and return and then forward. And the kidney's first acupuncture point is down on the soles of the feet. So you press them here to the earth and breathe in. Draws that water energy up through the kidney meridians. And then exhale as you come up. Happy kidneys, happy lower back. And then breathe in. And breathe out. And then palms on the back. Straighten the knees, press the feet to the earth. Relaxing the lower back as you're arching. And return. And then your upper body forward. Hands slide down the back of the legs. Grab the toes and let the head hang. And stretch. Soles of the feet press to the earth. And then bend the knees and exhale. And then let's just float our hands up and return. Okay, energy's moving through all the meridians now. And we're going to do our water element Qigong form. So this one is kind of similar to the fifth brocade. The deer wags its tail. So you let's put your right hand on the back. And on this, your palm faces out, faces behind you. And it's really simple. Your feet are just shoulder width or a little wider. So really simple one. And you take your left hand, and it starts where you're just leaning to your right side a bit and pressing your hand out like this. And actually, before we get there, it starts with a scoop. So you're going to reach your left hand down and act like you're scooping water from a stream, and you draw it up, and then you face your palm out and you shift your weight back to the left foot. So it's really simple. Then you scoop, bend the knees, you're drawing it up, palm out, and then shift your weight back to the left. As you scoop, you're breathing in, and then as you shift, you breathe out. So again, this brings your attention down to the soles of the feet. You're breathing in, and then breathing out. One more time. Scoop the water energy. Activate the kidney meridians from the soles of the feet. And then you switch, so you bring your left hand to the back, and your right hand, palm out, and then you shift back to the right side. Sink, scoop, palm out, and shift. Breathing in as you scoop, breathing out. And you feel that hand on your back against the kidney energy. And there's another acupressure point on your lower back there, connected with the kidneys and your lower dantian. So this really gently activates the kidneys and energizes the legs. And balances the water element. So one more, reaching down, breathing in, and breathing out. Okay. And so then the next brocade, we're going to flip back to them, is for the wood element. So we go earth, metal, water, and wood. And this is the one where our feet are a little wider than shoulder width, toes point out. And this one really is a good example of tension and relaxation. So you make a fist in your left hand and then squeeze, and you're just pressing it, squeezing especially your left side of the body. You push your left toe down into the earth and you gaze at your fist, scrunching your eyebrows a little bit, and then you let go. You turn your thumb down and open the fist. Face your palm up, bring that hand back. Then you make a fist in your right hand and then squeeze the right side of your body. Press the big toe on the right side down. That's also where your liver meridian begins. So it draws the energy up the liver meridian. And then you point the thumb down and release. And draw that in. And then bring the left hand up and squeeze. Gaze at the fist. And then release. And here's where you breathe in. And then squeeze. And then exhale. Breathe in. Squeeze, tightening. And then release and exhale. Breathe in. Squeeze. Gaze at the fist. Release and exhale. Breathe in. Squeeze, tightening. Draw that chi inward with the squeeze and tension. And then breathe in. Squeeze. And release. And let the hands sink down the sides. Reach your hands out to the side and take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Now this one is also really similar to the Qigong form for the wood element. So your feet again are shoulder width apart, and it looks almost the same. So your left hand will come forward and your right hand at the side. Knees bent, shoulders relaxed. And then you're just going to flip your palms. And then you're going to slide your right hand past the left and push it forward. And here you're pressing that right toe down a little bit, making that tension. Draws the energy up the liver meridian. And then your palms flip and you center your legs. So you kind of turn and then you center. And then you bring that left hand forward and press with the left toe. So your tension here, drawing the energy up the liver meridian, and then release. And center. And then the right hand comes. And then release. And in my 5-element course, it goes into detail about the meridians and where the energy is flowing with the yin meridians, which is the liver for the wood element, and then also how it proceeds through the gallbladder meridian, through the form. And there's great meditations to visualize the meridians too, that you can do separately from the form to memorize those energy pathways. So again, left hand coming forward, you press the left toe down and then release. And then with the breathing on this one, as you press, you inhale and exhale. So this is the movement for the springtime, wood energy. Breathing in, breathing out. We are just charging and activating all the major meridians here. Breathing in, make a happy liver, happy gallbladder. And you feel your roots and your feet sink into the earth. And it's that green healing color that fills and flows through the liver and the gallbladder. All right, so that's 4 out of 5 now, and we've got just one more brocade, which is the vibration or shaking the pillars. So we're going to come up on the toes and make a light fist, and then plop. And this one I like to think of as like a reset. You're going through all those motions and you're feeling the chi through all these meridians, but then this one is just a more general release, and you imagine that vibration coming up through your heels and moving through every cell in your body, shaking away any tension, unlocking any blockages. And you feel it first again in the heels, up through the hips and the lower back, and in your tailbone, moving up through the spine, through every chakra, your third chakra and your rib cage, your fourth chakra, your chest and upper back, your shoulders and down your arms out to your fingertips, and your neck, throat chakra, and even up into your head. You feel that vibration just move subtly through your head and up to the crown chakra. And one more time, up on the toes and plop. And then reach the hands out to the side and breathe in. Feel the crown chakra and energy settling all the way down into the earth through the feet. And one more time, reach out and breathe in. Crown chakra, shower of energy through every cell in your body. Bend the knees through the soles of the feet into the earth. One more time, reach up. Crown chakra, cosmic energy through your brain and your heart and your body. So we have one more, that culmination, the fire energy. So this one's a little tricky. It's the trickiest elemental form. So with this one, you imagine you're holding a beach ball, okay, with your two hands, like you're on the beach. It's a warm, sunny day. And with this one, the feet are a little wider than shoulder width, but this is a good segue for what I'm going to move into with the smart moves for the feet. So you spin the ball, okay, and I'll be your mirror. So let's say your left hand's on top, right hand's on the bottom. Spin the ball, and your right hand's going to come up above your head, like you're blocking from the sun, and your right hand draws energy up the side, and you face your palm forward, and you shift your weight to the right as you pivot, like this. And so your left hand is going to kind of move in front of the body until it ends up right in front of your chest. It would just kind of split your chest in half. This stimulates the heart and the small intestine. It's really powerful. It's really subtle. Then you bring it back and you're holding the beach ball again. Okay, now we've got our right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. Spin the ball, and the left hand is going to come up. Shield your eyes from the sun. Right hand's going to come up the side. Face the palm forward and fingers up. Then you shift your weight over to the left and you pivot to the left. And this is that moment of a little tension. You feel the left hand kind of pressing up, weight sinking into the foot, and then release. And you hold the beach ball again. Okay, now again, we got left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. Spin the ball, right hand comes up, left hand reaches down, and then it comes back up the side. Palm faces forward with your fingertips up, and then you shift your weight to the right, pivot, and then return. And so you have those fire element meridians moving through your arms, small intestine, and the heart. Now you got your right arm up, left hand down, spin, and then that left hand's going to come up. Shield your eyes from the sun. The right hand goes down and then comes up. Palm forward, fingers up, and then you shift your weight to the left, pivot, and return. And I'll just share the breathing with that one too. It's a little hard on this one to do the breathing until you really got comfort with the movement. But we're going to spin the ball. Right arm comes up, left hand down, comes up the side, and then you shift. And here's where the inhale comes. You breathe in, and then you breathe out. So it's really a long exhale here. Spin, and then as you press, you breathe in, and then breathe out. Spin, shift, breathe in, and then breathe out. It's good. We have so much water energy happening right now. It's good to balance with the fire. This movement probably feels really good once you learn it and don't need to think about it. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. So let's bring our feet in shoulder width and breathe in and breathe out. All right. So last class on the 19th, we went over our smart moves for the feet, and they're really important for the water energy. Like I was saying, the kidney meridian starts on the soles of your feet. And so to get our brain and our mind connected to the kidney energy, we activate our feet through smart moves. So we practice this motion. So I'm not going to go over the basic motion too much. If you just go back to that video in the Qigong classes circle, it's just February 19th. I do a nice intro to this movement. But just to demonstrate, you can practice it if you remember. Sinking, and then pushing off. And you're free to lift the feet off the ground. So really, it's key to just learn this first bit of footwork. Sinking, and you're really coordinating so many pieces of balance. So when you're here, you lean into the front leg, and then push off, and then all your weight's on the opposite leg as you're pivoting, and you shift back, all your weight shifted, and pivot. So you're learning to only pivot with the foot that doesn't have any weight on it. Okay, so you lean into the front leg, push off, you pivot on the rear, and then you shift your weight, pivot, and then just to remind you of the breathing. As you sink, you push off, okay, and as you sink is when you inhale. So you breathe in, and then as you push off, you breathe out. You sink and you breathe in, You feel that great stretch in your hips, and it activates the hips. And then as you push off, breathe out. Sink and breathe in. Push off and breathe out. Inhale, exhale. And then I'm demonstrating too just the first movement with your hands, just drawing a circle like a ring around a planet, and your dantian is that planet. So you can just kind of remember this is the most basic form for the smart moves for your feet. But what you're doing most importantly is you're coordinating your mind with your feet. And you'll use this movement during a lot of your daily activity. It just kind of integrates in as you're shifting or bending or picking something up off the ground or getting in and out of a car. There's lots of times you'll notice yourself integrating these movements, and your mind's just making friends with your feet, your heels, soles of your feet, and sink. And then again, push off. All right. So then eventually, with the smart moves, we can go deeper, but it's never necessary to do this, but it is going to be more, it's going to circulate your energy more. When you bend your knees all the way down, you can do a full lunge and come up. Sink all the way down and come up. And it builds from here too, but this is just the next little step you can take if your body is willing. Sinking and breathing in, and then breathing out. Okay, so bring your feet back into the center. Reach your hands up. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And reach the hands out and breathe in and breathe out and bend the knees. And then one more time, reach out, inhale and exhale. Okay, so I wanted to just demonstrate how you can apply a couple more movements. We're not going to go into them in depth, but with the smart moves, one of my favorites is to hold up heaven. Okay, I just want to show you how you can integrate these arm movements in and make it more dynamic. So you can do this as you're shifting. And sink. And return. And you can even bring the brocades in. Sink and push up the sky. And return. And it just becomes a more full energy exercise. You sink. Breathe in. Push up the sky. And return. So you're just using more of your brain. Sink. Push up the sky. And return. And even if you're not doing a real deep lunge, you can do the same thing with your feet just shoulder width apart. Let's see. There we go. Just simply sink. And that will really help your balance. Then you shift, and the footwork stays the same. And so it's really easy with the feet. If you keep them close, and you push up. But this is great to build your balance and that connection. Keeping yourself rooted, See, when you use these movements with the feet, you really have no choice but to stay balanced, or you'll fall over. Okay, and then you push up the sky. You can sink more and return. Okay, so we have just a couple more minutes, and I wanted to throw one more fun exercise in. Okay, because the springtime and the water element, the water is about building our strength and getting our energy into the core. And then the wood is more about circulating the energy. So we're still in the water element time. And especially with all this leg work we're doing, we want to hold the squat or the horse stance just for a minute or two. We'll do today. So I like to hold with my fist in the hand or just holding my hands out like this. And then as you're practicing it, we'll squat down. You really want to feel your hips and straighten your spine. Then at first it's going to be easier with the toes out, but then you want to gradually work your toes to point straight forward. So with this one, you can just gaze straight ahead and enjoy the burn and keep the fire energy down by keeping your shoulders relaxed and smiling, letting your lower body vibrate and shake. Just to start, we'll do like one more minute. Or what am I saying? Like a half minute. Let it burn. Let it sink into the hips. Let your mind sink into the hips. And let your breath sink into the belly. Shoulders and chest relaxed. Feel down into your feet. Planted into the earth. Draw the chi down into the lower body. This is how you get the chi. You work through that burn, and it sinks layer by layer, deeper into your bones, where you hold your reserves. And it grounds your mind. It gets your mind more and more settled into your body. Okay, so face the hands down. Slowly straighten the knees and lower the hands down and float them up and sink and bring a little movement back through the legs, just up and down. Tell your legs good morning. Good morning, legs. And breathing in and breathing out. Just feel the energy. Feel that connection between your mind and your legs. And we'll keep working on that posture. Try to hold it for a minute or two and build up to 3 or 4 minutes. And just let that energy keep sinking inward. And so after you do a few of those, you can hold the posture again, let it sink and settle, and then move your body and stretch. So let's do our hands reaching down the center, head up a little bit, reach down gently in the center and over to the right and over to the left. And you can draw a circle with your hands. Reach it up and down, and then the other way. Feel connected down to your feet. Okay, and the other way. Rounding down to your feet. And the other way. And let's stop up here at the center. And let your hands down and bring your feet together. Reach out, breathe in and exhale and hands together. Wonderful job today. You did the 5 Element Qigong, partnered with your 8 brocades, and then some smart moves for the feet. And we're going to keep building on those. So remember to go back to the previous video, February 19th, to learn the smart moves. And then we're going to keep progressing and building our connection with the feet and the legs, and kidneys, and all good things. All right, have a wonderful day.